Hi guys, this is jjlockhART and I'm just drawing a little bit just to try out my new Copic markers. I decided to draw a mermaid, and I'm just starting off real quick by using just a colored pencil to sketch out the main shapes and get the layout right and the pose just right for the mermaid. I'm just trying to quickly sketch out with just rough lines just to get the main shape right. And after that, then I'll start using the pencil to sort of fine line it, just to get my lines a little bit cleaner, a little bit bolder, and figure out where to better define the lines. And I usually just use a mechanical pencil. I just feel more comfortable using the mechanical pencil usually. And there I'm trying to get the curls of the hair just right. And I sort of jump from here to there on the page just to get the overall first before I start doing any detail work. As you can see, I'm better defining the outline of the body and of the fin. Also sort of playing around with what to do for the rest of the composition. I'm doing just a couple of like rocks or boulders, and now you can see I'm doing a little bit finer detail, and I changed the perspective, or I moved the camera around a little bit to get past my hands and be a little bit easier to see. But I'm still trying to get the setup right, so bear with me. And just better defining the lines and adding a little more to the top so that it sort of balances out the boulder on the bottom, cleaning up the shape of the arms. Still doing more line work, adding a little more frills here and there, more detailing. And then I'm adding in a small background, sort of just to guide me, to give me sort of like I'm just using like an asymmetrical shell shape, and I'm just trying to just keep it contained. Now here I sort of forgot to record a clip, or either that or somehow it got lost in the upload. But what I did is I just took a clean piece of paper and I traced out my drawing and fine lined it with just some black microns. And so that's why you kind of sort of just skip to this one and there's a little bit of color, but you really didn't miss much. All I did was just trace it, do a little fine lining, and put some solid colors down. And again, this is just to better play around with the Copic markers, since this is actually my first drawing with them. I just recently bought them, and so I was very excited to use them and try them out. And I really did have lots of fun using them for the hair, especially with all the different layers of colors. I was just trying to see how far I could go, how many layers, what colors. I also used a lot of colors that you don't think would normally go together, just to see how well the blending of the markers went. So it was really more just to practice using Copic markers, since they're brand new to me. I especially liked using that really bright pink in certain areas to sort of give it an extra bump of color. And then I'm using a little bit of a blue on top of the green to sort of just create like a quick like scaly effect. I just sort of used the tip of the Copic just to dabble it a little bit, and it just created a really fun texture. And then here I'm just blocking out the whole boulder in that dark purple color. I thought that nice deep color looked really well with the other colors and just gave it a little bit more depth. And there's my nose. Just adding more layers to the hair, just to give it some more variety, some more depth. I really enjoy the that brush tip on the Copic markers. It's just, I previously had some Spectrum Noir markers and they were lots of fun to use, but they definitely don't have a brush tip, and that's one thing I definitely enjoy about these markers, is that they have that nice soft brush tip. And I'm also going in here with some Prismacolors just to add a little more depth, adding like a very dark blue-green. Again, just more Prismacolors for more detailing work. And then I'm using this purple mechanical pencil, and I like that the purple sort of gives it depth, gives it a deeper color without it being black or brown. Just the richness of the color creates really nice depth. And I'm going in again with Prismacolors and just adding a little more shape, a little more depth to the boulder. And I'm adding a little bit of highlights with my SAKURA Jelly Roll. And after I put down some highlights, I was looking at the hair and I wanted to add some more strands, a little more depth to it. So I was playing around with that purple mechanical pencil and getting that color in there, and seeing how much I could push that purple into that already dense colored paper. The markers were already on there pretty good. There were several layers on there, so I was just trying to see how much I could work in that purple mechanical pencil. I'm sorry, I sweep a lot with whenever I erase, there's always a little crumbles everywhere, and I guess I'm OCD about it or something, but I'm always swiping it away, so you'll see my hand swipe so many times. And I'm just adding a little bit of wisps here and there with the microns, just to give it a little more, just to break the shape a little bit more. And then I'm adding a little bit of a pattern to the thin area with the purple mechanical pencil. And then adding a little bit of shading. A little more depth. And I'm adding a little more shape and color to the boulders. Again, using my Prismacolors. I have to say, overall, I really enjoyed using the Copic markers. I really didn't know what to expect, just because I don't usually use markers. I usually do watercolor or acrylic. So these art markers are usually always something that I wanted to try, but I rarely get a chance to try it. So it was really fun just to work with them and see what they can do. And like I said, I previously had some Spectrum Noir markers, but they work very well, but they're just a little bit different, especially because of the tips. But I definitely enjoyed using my Copic markers, and I can't wait to use them again and really get a feel for them, practice using them more, creating more, and obviously the fun part is always collecting more colors. And there I'm just pushing in more purples, more blues into that dark rock. Just almost burnishing the color pencils. And adding a little bit of a highlight. I used a really soft purple, pinkish purple to add some highlights. And I'm just adding a little bit of detailing to the back. Not too much because I don't want to draw too much attention to the background. So I'm using really light purples, grays, and then later like a little light blue just to create little dots almost, sort of so they look a little bit like fish in the background. And I'm going in and erasing my outline. I initially put the outline there just so that I would be able to see where the shell shape was. But the pencil surprisingly came up pretty easily. There was some spots where it didn't want to come up because I had already colored over it with the Copic marker. But overall, I think it cleaned up pretty well. And I'm going in just adding some highlights, just a little bit more detail working. Adding a little bit here and there. And I went over the black outline there a little bit. So then I go in and just put the little black back in. And I'm ready to sign it. And that's my completed mermaid drawing using Copic's Micron pen, fine liner pens, regular mechanical pencil, and that's basically it. Oh, and a little bit of white to highlight it. And so that's what it looks like. And again, this is my first attempt with the Copic markers, and I definitely had lots of fun, so I definitely will try more art pieces with it. So make sure to like and subscribe so you can see what else I experiment with. And thank you so much for watching. And all of the description and the materials and my social media platforms will be in the description.